Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell. If you didn't hear the breaking news today, and if you're not watching my videos and you're new to my channel, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has released their full Handbook of Instructions. Volumes 1 and 2 included together online on the church's website. For those of you who don't know me, born and raised Mormon, I'm going on 50 years, pioneer heritage except from my mom's father's side of the family, which were converts, and even though they were Smiths, they were not Joseph Smiths. Smiths came from other family lines. And if you aren't familiar with me, full disclosure, I am an LDS critic, despite having been born and raised in the church. It's because I was obedient. And by being obedient, I learned the truth. But you'll have to watch all the videos that I've done, all the books I've published, all the website articles I've done. I don't think the website videos are available anymore because the church got a hold of those and shut me down. They're worth $1 trillion at least. The 100 billion scandal, that was just one investment made from one of the sources of income that they receive. They follow that protocol for everything. And as I looked over the handbook, as I was copying and pasting it into a Word program, I realized, looking at everything together, that they are, one, planning for the restoration of Brigham Young's kingdom, to restore the government and religion of Brigham Young, and to restore polygamy. I've seen what Nelson's been doing since taking office. Not only the betrayal of America by working with Russia, receiving the $32 billion back in May 2018, as was reported, from Hatch's tax bill to allow the church to get it started right away in the new year. But now that I read the handbook and its release at this time, I realize what they're doing. They're planning on fleeing. They're allowing the stake presidents to run the various churches as a religious entity during their fleeing. And so that when they return, the church will still be intact with the Mormons, depending on how many survive the apocalypse. But yeah, the church can flee anywhere they want to. Nelson and the other 14 brethren can just pick up and head out on his private jet that was donated by one of the rich members of the church. That's what the prophet uses to travel the world. He doesn't ride coach. The apostles may, as they've told stories, but the president doesn't. So I could easily see him securing the leadership and fleeing the country and funneling all the trillions to some offshore bank account so that they can live after this. I'm not sure, because I'm getting screwed on my lawsuit against the church. Again, I sued the church. I won. It's obvious I won. They committed crimes against me, and committed crimes during the lawsuit. But the judge is compromised and refuses to respond, to do anything. And so I'm very alert right now as to what's going on, what they're planning on doing. And that's what I can see, is they've shut down Temple Square right now as they're reinforcing the temple to withstand earthquakes and doing remodeling and such, and planning to come back in 2024. So what is curious, though, is that they obviously, the fleeing is a backup plan. The first plan is to have everything continue as is. But the Boy Scouts going bankrupt, with all the lawsuits against the church for Boy Scout leaders getting raped, or raping the Mormon boys, and all the other scandals, the 100 billion scandal that came out. So yeah, I see this as a backup plan, that they're panicking because the 100 billion breaks out in the news, and then at the near the end of January, they're announcing they're going to release the whole handbook of instructions, when previously handbook 1 has been the coveted, nobody gets to see it, like nobody is supposed to see what goes on in the temple. They're panicking. It would be nice if they were getting information that they're going to go down in flames for my lawsuit. Like I told you, I notified the FBI, gave them the tip of my lawsuit, with the federal Mormon judges being compromised, the whole Utah FBI compromised, the whole government of Utah compromised. I would hope they got word of that. They seem to. But the FBI contact was made after they announced they were going to release the handbook. But right after my lawsuit. Go figure. Wow. Because I was searching online for collections agencies who can help me get the money from the church, and I noticed that they were all saying you need to act quickly because most companies declare bankruptcy so that the victims don't get the money. Thus the Boy Scouts are declaring bankruptcy so that the victims don't get the money. And so how is the church going to do that? They can't declare bankruptcy. They could, but what would happen to the church if they declared bankruptcy? And so instead, what do criminal organizations do? Would they declare bankruptcy? No, as a last resort, yes. But they have access to flee to a non-extradition country where they can have an offshore account to funnel all the money into. As this happened last year, the end of last year, somebody did that. I can't remember what company it was. They were being sued, and what they did was they transferred all the company's money into their own personal accounts. And the church can't do that. that would not look good to the members. If Nelson all of a sudden is a trillionaire. So what they would have to do is put it into another account offshore to do this, to get away with it. But yeah, that's, man. Because what triggered this was when I was reading the handbook, I came across a priesthood chart that they have in there, and the different offices and who calls them and such, and high priest was there, and stake priests or stake presidents are the ones who call high priests, whereas a stake president is called by the 12 apostles. And wow. But yeah, that triggered in my mind that this might be the case, because some time ago I was thinking, well, what would happen if the first presidency and the quorum of the 12 were gone? And I was going, according to the way Brigham Young restructured it, the whole 70 would become the leaders of the church, and wrote to the 70 presidency, and 70 presidency changed it in Wikipedia. It's been a long time since I've done that video. I don't know if you can find it, and I don't know if I can find it. But oh yeah, letter to the 70. And search in YouTube, Travis Wayne Goodsell or TWG letter to the 70. And yeah, I talk about that experience. And so I think I scared the church. That they were willing to say, okay, oh, wow, all 15 of us gone? Well, we need a backup plan, don't we? Okay, 70. Wait a minute, Travis is suing us as the 70 are also considered the corporation? Yeah, I set them up for that. And so, I don't know what the 70 are going to do, because they can't all fit on the jet. They could end up taking the fall for the prophets. And that may be what they're thinking, is that they're panicked now. But again, the judge is refusing to reply. And so I'm not sure what's up. And I have no clue if the FBI are just going to say, oh, he's from Utah, we'll send it to Utah, and completely ignore Utah FBI are in on it too. This needs to be dealt with in another jurisdiction. Yeah, and so you're getting this firsthand, guys. The church is panicking. They're planning to flee if need be. If they can't protect themselves, they're going to flee. And with the news of the 100 billion and them getting my lawsuit, which I demonstrated they're a criminal organization, because they got informed that there's a lawsuit against them. They have easy access to go online and download my PDF filings, even though I haven't served them officially, because the judge is refusing to comply and do her job. She's in contempt of her own court. And then they announce that they're going to release the full handbook, which was done today. Right before, it was like the day after, wasn't it? Yesterday, the Boy Scouts announced they're going bankrupt. They timed all this, guys. This is all timed. And they react. they were setting things up for their own interests, but when pressure comes on them, they react. And you can see the difference between what they're planning in advance versus what they're reacting to and panicking about. Panicking into making an error. It comes from a comedy movie. Not sure if it's Spaceballs or if it's Princess Bride. Yeah, Princess Bride. Yep. The six-fingered man is with the king, or the prince, I guess. Prince Humperdinck. And my presence must have caused them into making an error. And they go into the fire swamp. Yeah, okay. They're planning a panic retreat. Wow. So they're going to screw me over on the trillions that they owe me. They're going to screw me over on handing over the keys to the church, which was also in my request for relief as another option. They're going to pass it off to the stake presidents to handle things while they flee. And then when all hell breaks loose in America, they're expecting to come back in 2024. I don't know how the temple's going to be restored then. If they've paid them in advance. If somebody knows that information, please make it public. But that's usually not how it's done. Usually you give them an upfront amount to get started and then pay them in installments, monthly payments. So, yeah, wow. So where would they go? Argentina? All the white supremacists go there this time of year. Wow. So I wonder, because they've had other apostles visiting other places, Guatemala, and they had the one out in the Middle East where they got the guy. They made some kind of a business deal with another Arab leader, or I guess Arab leader, he recognized the church, and the church didn't say what they got out of it, or he got out of it. Alrighty, so I just wanted to get this out there. I'm still going to be mulling over this, pondering and praying. But the church is panicking. That's clear. Because this is different than taking the time to say, hey, we're announcing a temple. Oh, and by the way, we're taking away the high priesthood. But it's still up to the stake presidents. The stake presidents are supposed to, all this time, say, hey, you're a righteous elder. You're becoming a high priest. Oh, okay. What office or what position? No, you're just a high priest now because you've shown by your works that you're a good person. They don't do that. All stake presidents violate the Book of Mormon and the original doctrine of the church to make a person a high priest by their good works, by being a good person, humane, and so I don't see the stake presidents changing anytime soon, especially with the leaders fleeing the country. But this will shock the church. And so maybe they're hoping that by handing out the handbook of instructions to all the members, that there'll be those fanatics who will say, well, this is our Bible now. This is our doctrine and covenants, and we need to obey it. That will most likely happen. I would think that the site would have to be shut down, though. And so the obsolete handbook would be used instead. I don't know, because I don't think anybody else but me is doing a copy and paste. 522 pages, and that was all scrunched together. Oh man. So yeah, keep your eyes out, guys. Church is fleeing. The leaders are fleeing. It's just what is that signal that will be the Utah FBI that tip them off? Because if it's an outside unit, they'd have to have a Mormon in those units to get word of it and tip off the Utah branch to tip off the church. So in the courts, yeah, Mormons everywhere. So yeah, the church found out. It's a public filing. The church found out. And so, yeah, I mean, you may think that my lawsuit is frivolous and nonsense, but no, it's not. It's legitimate. And the church is now panicking around the same time period. Right after my lawsuit, after the 100 billion, boom, we're releasing the handbook. We're releasing our holy grail. So, yeah, the timing is clear. They're panicking. But what they're waiting for, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they found out my video where I said I contacted the FBI. I don't know. That was after so it was after the release of the handbook, though. So yeah, it would have been the final edit of default, or the entry of default that I put in there. It was after that. That's when they panic and said, okay, let's release the handbook. Huh. Wow. Okay. So there you have it. See, I am more influential than you Mormons realize. Not just with this. I've been influential for a couple of decades now. And you guys are clueless. While saving the video, I was checking over my lawsuit docket. Sure enough, yeah, on the 30th of January, they made the announcement, we are going to release the precept-based, principle-based handbook. That was the day before the deadline for Judge First to respond to my motion for summary judgment. Oh, yep. You're welcome. Yep, the church is panicked. And so, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they've already funneled most, if not all, of the trillions to an offshore account now. And so, they are purposely preparing to not pay me a single penny. Oh man. Because if you... Should I even pull it out and read it over with you guys again? I know I did the video. Maybe I can search for it and link you to it below. But yep, exact timing. The day before, they freaked out and panicked. So, yeah. Okay. It's clear they're fleeing. So guess what, Mormons? Your prophets deserted you. Oh my God. I mean, it's awesome that I can be a part of history. But it sucks because so many people are going to suffer because of this. Because of what the church has done and what they're refusing to allow to restore the damage they've done. They've screwed over the Boy Scouts. They've screwed over the hospital. They screwed over their adoption agency. That's just their habit. That's what criminals do. You know, they get all the money they can from something, and when it's exposed and is gonna, you know, be held to account, they bail, take all the money and run, and leave those who were there before out of luck. You're out of a job. You were a criminal organization. And so just like Trump's sister, who was a judge, they began to investigate her. She up and quit. Oh, okay, well, we won't investigate anymore then. That's what happens. I don't understand why. A crime is a crime. Keep pursuing the crime. Now that they're no longer a judge, it makes it all the more easier to pursue legal action against them. But, I don't know. I guess the quid pro quo among federal officers or police officers and the criminals, hey, if you give up something, we'll go light on you. Oh well. So, yeah. The more and more I research this, it's going to continue to confirm until one day the church is gone. Where'd they go? Where's our prophets? We have no prophet to lead and guide us and direct us in these latter days. They weren't doing it in the first place. That's the whole problem. Oh my God. They even talk about the prophets in the handbook. Like, oh, Amos 3:7, or Amos 3:7. Oh my God. So, bye-bye, church. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye, baby, bye-bye, she said in a letter. And that was all she wrote.